I'm thinking about my doorbell. When you're gonna ring it? When you Oh, Dunciad, right, yes. Sorry. Here strip, my children, here at once leap in. Here prove who best can dash through thick and thin, and who the most in love of dirt excel, or dark dexterity of groping well. Who flings most filth and wide pollutes around, the stream be his, the weekly journals bound. A pig of lead to him who dives the best, a peck of coals apiece shall glad the rest. In naked majesty old Nixon stands, and Milo-like surveys his arms and hands. Then sighing thus, "And am I now 80? And why, ye gods, should 2 and 2 make 4? He said, and climbed a stranded lighter's height, shot to the black abyss, and plunged downright. The senior's judgment all the crowd admire, who but to sink the deeper rose the higher. Next Medley dived, slow circles dimpled all the quaking mud that closed and oped no more. All look, all sigh, and cry on Smedley lost. Smedley in vain resounds through all the coast. Then Hill essayed, scarce vanished out of sight. He buoys up instant, and returns to light. He bears no token of the sabler streams, and mounts far off among the swans of Thames. True to the bottom see Concadan creep, a cold, long-winded native of the deep. If perseverance gain the diver's prize, not everlasting Blackmore this denies. No noise, no stir, no motion canst thou make, then conscious stream sleeps o'er thee like a lake. Next plunged a feeble but a desperate pack, with each a sickly brother at his back. Sons of a day, just buoyant on the flood, then numbered with the puppies in the mud. Ask ye their names? I could as soon disclose the names of these blind puppies as of those. Fast by like Niobe, her children gone, sits Mother Osborne, stupefied to stone, and monumental brass this record bears. These are, no, these were the gazetteers. Not so bold Arnold, with a weight of skull, furious he dives, precipitately dull, whirlpools and storms his circling arms invest, with all the might of gravitation blessed. No crab more active in the dirty dance, downward to climb, and backward to advance. He brings up half the bottom on his head, and loudly claims the journals and the lead. The plunging prelate and his ponderous grace, with holy envy, gave one layman place, when lo, a burst of thunder shook the flood, slow rose a form in majesty of mud, shaking the horrors of his sable brows, and each ferocious feature grim with ooze. Greater he looks, and more than mortal stares, then thus the wonders of the deep declares. First he relates how sinking to the chin, smit with his mien, the mud nymph sucked him in. How young Lutetia, softer than the down, Negrina black, and Murdermonte brown, vied for his love in jetty bows below, as Hylas fair was ravished long ago. Then sung how shown him by the nut-brown maids, a branch of Styx he arises from the shades, that tinctures as it runs with Lethe streams, and wafting vapours from the land of dreams. As under seas Alpheus secrets loose, bears Pisa's offerings to his Zarathus, pours into Thames, and hints the mingled wave, intoxicates the pert, and lulls the grave. Here brisker vapours o'er the temple creep, there all from Paul's to Aldgate drink and sleep. Thence to the bank where reverend bards repose, they let him soft, each reverend bard arose, and Milbourne chief, deputed by the rest, gave him the cassock, surcingle, and vest. "Receive," he said, "these robes which once were mine. Dullness is sacred in a sound divine." He ceased and spread the robe, the crowd confess, the reverend flamen in his lengthened dress. Around him wide a sable army stand, a low-born, sail-bred, selfish servile band, prompt or to God or stab, to saint or damn, heaven's Swiss, who fight for any god or man. Through Lud's famed gates, along the well-known fleet, rolls the black troop, and overshades the street, till showers of sermons, characters, essays, encircling fleeces, white in all the ways. So clouds replenished from some bog below, mount in dark volumes, and descend in snow. Here stopped the Gortys, and in pomp proclaims a gentler exercise to close the games. Ye critics, in whose heads, as equal scales, I weigh what author's heaviness prevails, which most conduce to soothe the soul in slumbers, my Hoadley's periods, or my Blackmore's numbers. Attend the trial, we propose to make, if there be man who o'er such works can wake, sleep's all-subduing charms who dares defy, and boast Ulysses' ear with Argus eye. To him we grant our amplest powers to sit, judge of all present, past, and future wit, to cavil, censure, dictate right or wrong, full and eternal privilege of tongue. 3 college sophs and 3 pert Templars came, the same their talents, and their taste the same, each prompt to query, answer, and debate, and smit with love of poesy and prate. The ponderous books to gentle readers bring, the heroes sit, the vulgar form a ring. The clamorous crowd is hushed with mugs of mum, till all tuned equal send a general hum. Then mount the clerks, and in one lazy tone, through the long, heavy, painful page drawl on. Soft creeping, words on words, the sense compose. At every line they stretch, they yawn, they doze. As 2 soft gales top-heavy pines bow low their heads, and lift them as they cease to blow. Thus off they rear, and off the head decline, as breathe or pause, by fits the airs divide. And now to this side, now to that they nod, as verse or prose infuse the drowsy god. Thrice Budgel aimed to speak, but thrice suppressed by potent Arthur, locked his chin and breast. Toland and Tyndall prompted priest to jeer, yet silent bowed to Christ no kingdom here, who sate the nearest by the words o'ercome, slept first, the distant nodded to the hum. Then down or rolled the books, stretched o'er him lies, each gentle clerk, and muttering seals his eyes. As what a Dutchman plumps into the lakes, one circle first, and then a second makes, what dullness dropped among her sons impressed, like motion from one circle to the rest, so from the midmost the nutation spreads, round and more round, o'er all the sea of heads. At last St. Lever felt her voice to fail, Motteux himself unfinished left his tale. Boyer the state, and Law the stage gave o'er, Morgan and Mandeville could prate no more. Norton from Dennis and Ostroyer sprung, blessed with his father's front and mother's tongue, hung silent down his never blushing head, till all lay hushed, as Folly's self lay dead. Thus the soft gifts of sleep conclude the day, and stretched on bulks, as usual poets lay. Why should I sing what bards the nightly muse did slumbering visit and convey to stews, who prouder marched with magistrates in state to some famed round house, ever open gate? How Hindley lay inspired beside a sink, and to mere mortals seemed a priest in drink, while others timely to the neighbouring fleet, haunt of the Muses, made their safe retreat. Okay, yeah, that does it. There's probably about 5 minutes left before the cell phone kicks off. So, how about a bonus time game? Give me a second. Destruction of Sennacherib. The Assyrian came down like the wolf on the fold, and his cohorts were gleaming in purple and gold, and the sheen of their spears was like stars on the sea, when the blue wave rolls nightly on deep Galilee. Like the leaves of the forest when summer is green, that host with their banners at sunset were seen, like the leaves of the forest when autumn hath blown, that host on the morrow lay withered and strown. For the angel of death spread his wings on the blast, and breathed in the face of the foe as he passed, and the eyes of the sleepers waxed deadly and chill, and their hearts but once heaved, and for ever grew still. And there lay the steed with his nostril all wide, but through there rolled not the breath of his pride, and the foam of his gasping lay white on the turf, and cold as the spray of the rock-beating surf. And there lay the rider, distorted and pale, with the dew on his brow, and the rust on his mail. And the tents were all silent, the banners alone, the lances unlifted, the trumpet unblown. And the widows of Asher are loud in their wail, and the idols are broke in the temple of Baal, and the might of the Gentile, unsmote by the sword, hath melted like snow in the glance of the Lord. No bad idea, Sonny Jim. All right, we'll stick with Hebrew melodies. Why not? The king was on his throne, the satraps thronged the hall, 1,000 bright lamps shone o'er that high festive all, 1,000 cups of gold in Judah deemed divine, Jehovah's vessels hold the godless heathen's wine. In that same hour and hall, the fingers of a hand came forth against the wall, and wrote as if on sand. The fingers of a man, a solitary hand, along the letters ran, and traced them like a wand. The monarch saw and shook, and bade no more rejoice. All bloodless waxed his look, and tremulous his voice. Let the men of law appear, the wisest of the earth, and expound the words of fear, which mar all royal mirth. Chaldea's seers are good, but here they have no skill, and the unknown letters stood, untold and awful still. And Babel's men of age are wise and deep in lore, but now they were not sage. They saw, but knew no more. A captive in the land, a stranger and a youth, he heard the king's command, he saw that writing's truth. The lamps around were bright, the prophecy in view. He read it on that night, the morrow proved it true. Belshazzar's grave is made, his kingdom passed away. He, in the balance weighed, is light and worthless clay. The shroud his robe of state, his canopy the stone. The Mede is at his gate, the Persian on his throne. Not sure what else to do. Why don't we end things on a somewhat lighter note? This is a very short, silly little poem by Francis Cornford. That is Francis, E.S., not I.S., so not the famous Cambridge anthropologist, but rather his wife. This one is called The Watch. Ooh. I wakened on my hot bed. Upon the pillow lay my head. Beneath the pillow I could hear my little watch was ticking clear. I thought the throbbing of it went like my continual discontent. I thought it said with every tick, I am so sick, so sick, so sick. Oh, death, come quick, come quick, come quick. Come quick, come quick, come quick, come quick. Whoops, that was weird. I should probably call this a night before I do Rupert Brooke's Death of Smet, the hippopotamus goddess, which I am disturbingly tempted to do at this moment. So yeah, we're not going to press our luck.